Wait a second. Is this the same show as the past 7 weeks? Did they actually make a good episode? Holy shit, wow! I cannot even begin to tell you how happy I am to say this. I really liked this episode. It wasn't perfect, I can complain about a few things and will, but goodness gracious, great Hulk balls, it is so relieving to have actually gone through an episode and be left with a positive feeling afterwards. I'm also relieved to be able to now have a good example to explain what actually worked here and what didn't in the previous episodes, because even now some people can't seem to grasp the reality that this show has not been impressive in damn near any capacity prior to this point. Let's explain. One of the largest and most valid complaints about the series up to now has been the fact that She-Hulk has had no serious obstacles to overcome as a hero. Not every single episode needs an obstacle, but it's utterly ridiculous to have gone 7 episodes without a single one. She breezes through each and every situation with minimal, if any, resistance. And no matter how much anyone wants to throw up the, but it's just a comedy shield, that will never be a sufficient argument. But what are we presented with here? The introduction of Matt Murdock, aka Daredevil, to the series as an opposing lawyer to her in a court case. And holy ever-loving shit, they were actually smart enough to present Jen with an obstacle. A lawyer who was able to out-lawyer her. Seriously, the courtroom banter between them in that scene was better than any court scene in the entire series. I love how fair of a back and forth exchange it was. Jen didn't have to be portrayed as an idiot to make Matt appear to be the superior lawyer. She brought up relatively reasonable points to try and defend her case and stayed well composed. It just so happens Matt was well equipped with quick and effective rebuttals to each of hers, and even the judge agreed with that. Notice the difference here from what every other episode has given us? Trust me, I'm not saying Jen should be losing each court case she's a part of, but didn't it feel more compelling to see her be tested here? Didn't it feel easier to side with her when some other lawyer gives her a run for her money when she thought this would be just another silly case? It makes a character's victory so much more satisfying when you see they don't always win. They are vulnerable in certain situations, and that vulnerability generally equates to relatability. And that's one of the main things to help an audience connect with a fictional superhero that seems so different from them. Plus, what a hell of a way to bring Matt Murdock back into the fold. We got a smidgen of him in No Way Home, but seeing him back in his element here was phenomenal. I'll get more into that later though. Another enormous issue many have shared is Jen's apparent lack of either appreciation or acknowledgement of her having the best of both worlds. She's been able to control her transformation nearly from day one and has never had another personality inside of her head to combat on a regular basis like her cousin. She has a great job running her own department at a well-established law firm. There's not a whole hell of a lot for her to complain about regardless of when she's Jen or She-Hulk. It's literally like everyone, including the audience, notices that except for her. But what are we presented with here? Her and Matt having a drink at the bar together, as well as a down-to-earth discussion that leads to a solid moment of character growth. Matt's insight helps Jen take a step back and realize how she can indeed be the best of both worlds if she's willing to see that.
So you can, if you choose,
be the best of both worlds.
Good for you, Jen. Now, I know it could be said that part of what makes this moment work is the fact that she hasn't accepted that reality from the beginning, but that seems like it should have been one of the easiest things for her to be aware of right away. Nonetheless, the writers managed to prove they are capable of putting together some good character-building dialogue. In addition to that, the chemistry between Jen and Matt was really fun to watch. They acted so well off each other, and their flirting was well received on my end because it came off as genuine. Then came the superhero stuff. I could not have been more pleased with the way they allowed Daredevil to verbally put She-Hulk in her place by pointing out her overconfidence and inexperience with being a hero. She is not as well versed in this area, and he does not shy away of making that clear. But they don't go as far as to make Jen a waste of space here. They simply showcase that Daredevil is the more seasoned veteran and is more than capable of handling the situation they're in, but Jen still provides assistance, and her presence there helps give her clarity that her client from the trial earlier was truly in the wrong. Then she hooks up with Daredevil, which I saw coming from a mile away and have absolutely no problem with. I don't understand how some people find an issue with that. Daredevil got his dick wet multiple times in the Netflix series and even more in the comics. It's not unrealistic in the slightest that they would sleep together. I think we just need to be grateful for the blessing of them not ruining Daredevil here. This was a good introduction of him to the MCU. He remains a stellar lawyer, cracked jokes, but never any that didn't befit his character, and proved he can whoop some serious ass. Is he the same Daredevil from the Netflix series? No, but that's not what I was expecting, and neither should anyone else watching this. Was Kingpin depicted in the same exact format between Hawkeye as he was in the Netflix series? No, but we've got the same incredible actors portraying them and have to be understanding that the darker, gritty, brutal tone of the Netflix series would not mesh that well with the current MCU. And I didn't find this to be a horrible compromise. Charlie Cox is still killing it in this role. Now, even though there's a bit of the typical absurdity that they've been dishing out in other episodes, like Jen's continuous disregard for human life or Daredevil's walk of shame the morning after they slept together, my primary problem with this episode is in the way they ended it. The fourth wall breaking worked fine for me here, probably more than any other instance in the past, and even the humor was landing more than any other entry as it was poking fun at the episode not being over, even when it felt like it should be. But as Jen goes to the gala and gives her acceptance speech for Female Lawyer of the Year, alongside a bunch of other female lawyers, she gets interrupted by a video from Intelligentsia, an evil corporation that hates her because she's a woman or something. What's utterly ridiculous here, though, is what they do in order to quote-unquote turn the tides against her. They just say some stupid shit like, "She-Hulk's not who you think she is. She doesn't deserve your praise." And then they show some pictures and text from her phone and play a sex tape of her and Josh. Are you fucking kidding me? That's it? That's their big leak of info to disturb the peace? Don't get me wrong, unless you're a porn star, I'm sure anyone would feel embarrassed to have a sexual encounter of theirs played on a big screen for an audience. But how the hell does that display any reason to not trust her or think she's not the hero they've seen her to be up to now? Everyone has sex. Last I checked, the gala wasn't taking place in a Catholic church where getting laid before marriage is some deadly sin. That was quite possibly the weakest, most immature, and ineffective twist they possibly could have come up with. Does it cause Jen to lose her temper in a professional environment that could potentially jeopardize her livelihood? Sure. It was also nice to see her actually hulk out a little and display some legitimate struggle to control her anger. But it's not Jen's outburst or reaction that I find unreasonable. It's the lackluster nonsense that came from whatever the hell Intelligentsia was trying to do here. So fucking what she has a picture of Captain America on her phone and a dating profile that she's actively been using? Is everyone else in the room a child that's never used a cellular device of their own? How is this supposed to be interpreted as a shocking revelation? More importantly, why the hell did you have to give such a good episode such a shitty ending? But I digress. The positives outweigh the negatives for me in this one, and even though that in no way makes up for the shit show the rest of the series has been, I'll still gladly take it. Now it's just the finale left, and who knows how that will turn out at this point. I'm hoping for the best. Fingers crossed the leader shows up. Alright, well, now the race has started. How fast can you like this video? Did you like it before it even started? Because that gets you bonus points. You want even more bonus points? Then go ahead and subscribe, because that gets you, like, all the points. All of them. Okay, bye.